Their previous good form was totally missing last week, and they were completely outplayed in what I think we might term atrocious conditions. It was a little bit different here at Princes Park. Adelaide's confidence today should be pretty well sky high. At the same venue, they notched up a strong victory over Melbourne to register their first win for the season and a rare victory in Melbourne. But of course, it was their second win here at Princes Park. And in actual fact, they are unbeaten at this ground. And they can set up the start to a pretty good season today too, because the next games are at home and they come up against the Brisbane Bears and also Richmond. So if they can take out today, then they will set the base for what could be a fine season 1992. At the helm of both clubs this season, let's check out the captains and coaches. Robert Shaw, again in charge for the Lions. Paul Roos is their captain. Graham Corns, the coach of the Adelaide Crows, of course, and the captain, Chris McDermott, today playing his 300th senior game. The record of both teams, they've only played on one occasion. That was at Football Park last year, a very controversial win on that particular day to Adelaide. A vital free kick going their way in the closing stages of the match. Ian Robertson and Gerard Healy, a very good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon, Peter.
As I said, a vital game for both teams, isn't it, really, at the start of the year?
I think it's very important for Fitzroy, Peter. They started the season well against Essendon and then messed it up a little bit in Brisbane last week, but they've got a good game coming up against Adelaide, Gerard, I think.
Yes, well, Adelaide were impressive last week. They were underdogs, I guess, against Melbourne. But having a look at the Fitzroy lineup, I think the weakness that Fitzroy have got is in the big man department. They'll miss Brett Stevens, who's missing after an injury, a back injury last week. And they've left Paul Abbott alone in the ruck. Fitzroy have used Paxman, Caven and Roos as part-time big men, a little bit more mobile. And Wheeldon and Roos will pose the problems for Fitzroy, for the Crows. Exel's in for his first game. And Fitzroy have got a pretty stable lineup.
I think Adelaide's greatest loss will be Rod Jamieson, who had to pull out of the side, been replaced by Tony Modra, and I think that their potential to kick a winning score is certainly there with Andrew Jarman back in the side. That's a big plus.
Right, thanks Robbo, and thanks Gerard. Crowd here this afternoon, well, not as big as we had at the MCG last night, which was in excess of 43,000, but the Fitzroy lot, well, not great in number. They can be rather vociferous, and I think we'll see pretty good atmosphere for this particular match. We'll take a break back at Princes Park after this.
Hi, I'm Mark Hickley from the Adelaide Crows. You're watching AFL Football on Channel 7. Yeah!
43,200 spectators saw North Melbourne last night go down to Carlton at the MCG. Magnificent game of football. It was the Blues winning by 15 points. DeLulio kicking 5 goals for Carlton. Other matches on today, Essendon and Collingwood at Waverley Park. St Kilda plays Hawthorn, Richmond plays Melbourne. And don't forget, we'll have progress scores from these matches throughout the afternoon. And the replay of the Essendon-Collingwood clash immediately following this game at Princes Park. Max Stevens is on the boundary line this afternoon for the Mitsubishi Motors ground report. Got it out today. G'day, Max.
G'day, Peter. Well, you couldn't have asked for a better day here in Melbourne today. Ideal conditions for football compared with last week. Well, I tell you what, just have a look at that current temperature, 26.6 degrees. Our expected high, we're already past that, 23 degrees. Now, the wind, none whatsoever, so no goal advantage. The forecast, well, it's excellent. Fine to mild day with some cloud, light to moderate northeasterly winds, but in all, a beautiful day for footy here at Princes Park.
Plenty of aggro at the centre bounce, Gerard.
Just before you go, Max, who are you going for?
Well, I have to go for Adelaide. My heart says Adelaide by 2 goals, Pete.
Gerard?
Well, I'm going to go for Fitzroy. I think they've won well in the Foster's Cup, and I can't go against winning form there.
And Robbo?
There might be a free kick picked out of this if these players don't settle down quickly.
Bit in the goal square down at the Robert Hickley stand.
And they're dusting up. McDermott in the centre is certainly starting off with a bit of aggression. I'm going to tip Adelaide. I saw them play last week against Melbourne here, so there's no reason why they can't win a game.
Well, Randall Bones making his presence felt. He's just letting Seacamp know that he's in business. He's a big boy, Bone, and he's going to make his presence felt in league football, I'm sure.
So we're about 8 seconds away from starting. The team's lining up early. 8 minutes past 2 Eastern time is the time the ball is bounced, and we'll see that underway in just a few seconds.
Well, on interchange for Fitzroy, we've got Elliott and guard, and for the Crows, Darren Smith, who was best on the ground for Port Adelaide last week at centre-half forward. He gets another opportunity for the Crows. And Daryl Hard, who Robbo appears to be the interchange specialist.
And he does good when he comes on the ground, Gerard.
And already the Adelaide runner is out. Ball is bounced. The Crows and the Lions from Princes Park. Vital game for both teams. Lyon tries to burst his way through, flips the handball over the top of the pack, not really to the advantage of the teammate, and plenty of weight being used in the pack there. And finally, it's kicked out by Maynard up towards centre field, and the mark is taken.
There's an Adelaide player. There's an Adelaide player, Mark Bickley, down behind play. There was a lot of aggression shown just after that ball was bounced to start the game.
In fact, I thought that Ross Lyon's indiscriminate slinging of the arm could well have been penalised. Very dangerous in a close-packed situation, but it appears that both sides are hell-bent on establishing a physical presence in this game.
Liptak, who kicked the last goal of the game last week here at the same ground, kicks the ball to within 10 metres of the goals. And the umpires will be very quick to try to get on top of this. He seems to be up and okay, Bickley.
Jared, do you get any impression that Fitzroy believe that Adelaide might be a bit suspect based on the start?
Well, I think that may be a little bit early, Robbo, because I think Adelaide are giving as good as they've got. But I have noticed at the start of the season the physical pressure applied is just getting more and more each year as we develop in the AFL.
McCormack to Wine. And the umpire's found a free kick now. It's going to Fitzroy. And it'll be taken down there by Caven, number 22. Caven's kick up towards centre wing.
The ball is on the defensive side of the wing. Jarman, McDermott, they combine. Bickley recovered. Well done, Mark Bickley. Kick towards half forward. Fitzroy mark nearly taken by Ruse. He flips it out the back. McCormack took his eyes off it. Now the hand pass is good. Gale, half back, kicks it towards the wing position. No mark taken. Bickley goes down again from a high tackle.
Yes, he has copped a little bit of physical punishment early in the game. Here we see him flick it out, and Jarman's back in business.
Jarman, ducking and weaving. Wren, well done. McGuinness, Bickley gets through, but he's hard up against the boundary line. Left foot kick by that player to half forward, punched away from behind by Abbott. Chance now for Marshall. He leaves it for McGuinness. Still, there's lots and lots of good hard tackling. McCormack nearly taken down, but gets his kick away to centre half forward. Osborne is punched away by Hart. Now a chance for Lee for the Crows. Gets the ball to Maynard. Maynard's kick towards half forward is good. That should be a mark. It's been paid. And it looks like Modra, the youngster, who we've only seen play a couple of Foster's Cup matches, but certainly has impressed me.
There's 6 goals against Footscray in his debut. An excellent start.
Modra to the full forward area. Nearly a mark back there. And it's taken over nearly, is it? No, it's still in play. Fitzroy kick it out. Brown marks and will kick a goal. Simple stuff for Brown.
Brown getting the first goal. McCormack trying to barge his way through. Now the umpire has decided it will be a bounce just wide of the centre circle.
Well, Brendan McCormack was best on the ground in the Crows and Fitzroy night game. I'm sure he's one player that Graham Corns will be concerned with today.
Line was up high. The ball socket out of the pack. Up towards the edge of the square. No clean possessions there. Finally, it's McGuinness, who made his presence felt at this ground 7 days ago. Played an excellent game, and that's a good mark for Hodges. Could have almost been played that one in the goal square a short time back. Didn't deliver the ball well. McCormack playing a good game. Ruse in the last line of defence for Fitzroy. Goes defensively towards the outer side, and Marcus Seacamp, he gets clear of Bone, tries to give it back to Gale. Succeeds finally in doing that. Gale with pace and skill. Well shepherded. Marshall applies a tackle. No, he doesn't. Jarman can't catch him either. Neither can Brown. Dundas gives out the hand pass quickly and taken away by Seacamp again up towards half forward, but the Crows are going to get out of it. Delivered well by Liptak up towards Maynard. Maynard at midfield. Those defence working well. No one can take a clean possession at half forward. Abbott's in there looking for a holding the ball decision. Liptak was trying to get clear, and the umpire will bounce it 50 metres from the Robert Heatley stand goal. And that's the end to which Adelaide is kicking this quarter as John Blakey hands the ball back to the umpire.
Bounces the ball about 60 metres from the Adelaide goal. Opportunity for Blakey. He's forced to kick quickly. The kick didn't go too kindly through the air. The bounce is awkward. It's finished up going about 65 metres. McDermott there. Coolly. Oh, Wiedemann dropped the sitter. That could be nearly a free kick to Wiedemann though. He's lucky there. Dropped the mark, but went after it again with determination, and he's awarded the free kick at half back. Kicks the ball nicely. Wide of centre half forward. Marking contest. No one can take the ball. And now that tackle a little too high against Anthony Ingerson. It's away. Ruse, Broderick, Broderick's kicked to full forward. He's given Osborne some space. Onto the right foot. Osborne's kick. He doesn't hook it anywhere near as much as he would have liked. And it's out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket for Fitzroy. Adelaide lead 1 goal. Fitzroy yet to score. The goal coming from David Brown. A very neat left foot kick. The kick in is done by Patterson. In towards half-back, the mark is taken there for Fitzroy by Abbott.
Former Hawthorn player who kicked 6 goals in a grand final. It's going to be a Crows ball through Ben Hart. I was very impressed by his display last week. Obviously a very, very good prospect. Marshall doing battle. Plenty of Fitzroy players at the fall of the ball. Maynard's attempted block, not successful. It comes out to McCormack again, who's been busy early in the first quarter. Loose ball at midfield. It's going to be taken away by the Lions. And speaking of Lyon, it's Ross Lyon on the end of the hand pass. A beautifully delivered pass to Osborne, maybe too far out this field.
Well, Richard Osborne just getting away there from the young, inexperienced Ben Hart. Hart given a big job on Jakovic last week, kept him to 5 goals, and he's a player with immense talent, but will be a big task today.
Richard Osborne, 55 metres out. And won't get the distance with the kick. Wiedemann. Maynard. Onto McGuinness, who's well shepherded. Came into the match last week with a bit of an injury cloud, but he played particularly well, Tony McGuinness. And he always delivers the ball well too. He'll get it back again. The hand pass coming from Ingerson. Back up towards half forward. Modra got well underneath the ball. Chance for Jarman. Snapshot for goal. Bounces and bounces through.
So play recommences. Abbott doing the ruck work. Goes straight through. Lyon. Broderick. We've got something moving now. Gale. 55 metres from goal. Nice looking kick. Touched right on the line by his teammate, Richard Osborne. Even though it may have been going to the right-hand side of that goal post. And through for Fitzroy's first score. They're one behind. Kick in. Taken by Liptak. Back it goes to Lee. Lee, who loves to run. Creative back pocket player. Scott Lee. Long kick in towards the centre. No mark taken. Punched back towards the wing. Good play by Caven. Gets it away now to Baldwin. Baldwin's kick into the forward line. And the mark has been taken very, very well in that forward pocket for Fitzroy by Exel, who, only 3 or 4 weeks ago, Gerard transferred from Geelong after being axed from their list.
Yes, it is his first game for Fitzroy. He was the second selection in the March draft and played 111 games for Geelong.
And that's why he was selected, to kick goals.
Exel gets his first goal for his new club, but at this ground against Hawthorn when he was playing for Geelong, I think from memory, Robbo, he kicked 7 goals in a very high-scoring affair here some 3 or 4 years back.
It was a fantastic game of football, and I think Geelong, if ever they were going to beat Hawthorn, they should have beaten them that day, right. Peter. But getting back to this match, Fitzroy now 1-1, Adelaide 2 goals straight. Abbott. Wren gets it down. Liptak could have nearly kicked it with the left foot. Scrubbed it along the ground with the right. And Roos kicks it short out wide of the wing. Chance now for Wheeldon. Tackled by Wiedemann. Ball goes over. Boundary throw in. Right half forward for Fitzroy. It'll be 2 kicks from their goal. Brilliant conditions here at Princes Park in Melbourne here today. And no excuses for good football.
Abbott and Wren. Brown went without the ball. Chance for Jarman, who kicked their second goal. Lee. Up the centre half forward. Hodges takes his second mark for the afternoon. Distance may test him. A good 55 metres out. Same distance as Richard Osborne was at the other end. He didn't get the distance. Seacamp comes away with the football. Transfers played to the member stand side here at Carlton. Roos runs straight at the ball and comes out with it. Hodges' tackle is late and subsequently ineffective. They might be able to get something moving now, Fitzroy, because Baldwin has the ball on left centre wing, spears the pass into half forward. Ross Lyon takes it. Supporters will look for 50 metres. Gerard?
Well, I thought that was reasonable fair play from the Crows player there, and I don't think it was awarded.
Good safe mark in defence. Taken by
half volley, wasn't it? Lyon's mark? That's what I thought.
This is Hart. Now to Lee. very creative defender. As Robbo mentioned, likes to run with the football. Wiedemann gives away the hand pass, and that's effective. Tregenza kicks to centre wing. Now it's Maynard's turn. It's around Paxman with a centering kick. Almost a mark. The umpire says play on, and Lynch will do just that. Had a bandage on his knee last week and looked a little proppy. Run was okay. This is Jimmy Wine. Kicks in towards full forward. Osborne got two hands on it. Good spoil by Patterson. Lee under pressure. Lyon tries to barge his way through. McGuinness will go for the boundary line. Didn't have too many other options, but Wine may get there first. And he does. Doesn't keep the ball in play, and it's out of bounds. Boundary throw in 55 metres from Fitzroy's goal.
Jimmy Wine just hurting the Crows there. A tagger of McGuinness and picking up a couple of kicks in defence. And Tony McGuinness will have to concentrate a little bit on his defence.
Boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Little kick off the ground by Broderick. Could have nearly been deemed in danger. A real struggle for possession. Wine still underneath there. Baldwin. Now Brown. Brown gets the handball. Oh, McDermott goes down. Tough tackle. Wiedemann nearly caught. Kick was a scrubber. In towards centre half forward. Sets it up for Fitzroy. Ruse to no one in particular. Brown will chop it off. No. It goes past him. Lee. Well tackled. Ball free. Wiedemann bumped off it, but he's still got the handball to Andrew Jarman, who creatively gives it to Bickley. Maynard. Brown goes down. That was too high, surely.
Well, I thought he ducked into that one and tried to barge through the players. Umpire paid around the neck. Certainly he was grabbed high, but I believe he was going to ground and shouldn't have been awarded the free.
Brown's kick has been marked between centre half back and full back by Abbott.
Interesting to see the influence that Jarman's already having on the game with his handball, setting up the Crows in midfield.
Abbott to Wine, to Paxman, to McCormack, back to Wine. McGuinness shepherded out of the contest. Kick up towards half forward. Osborne, the ball bounced just a little bit short for him, and Hart picks up. Ben Hart. Abbott again. Broke his leg when he was playing for Hawthorn against the West Coast Eagles, and was found it very difficult to get back into senior footy. The opportunity is with Fitzroy. This is Ben Hart again.
Good mark.
That's a good grab. Wind underneath it. Courageous. Making his presence felt too early in the opening term.
Haven't Fitzroy benefited from the fact that Hawthorn have got too many players and allowing Abbott to come and play for them?
Yes, it's one of the real objects of the draft, to try and even up the talent from the top sides to the middle of the order, or the lesser talented teams. And I think already we can see from the start of this season that it's a tipster's nightmare, and it's very difficult to pick winners.
Certainly is. Caven taps down to Wine. Maynard will try to keep him out of the contest, and does so. But Wine gains about 30 metres for his side, and the ball now at right half forward for the Royals. Scoreboard 1-1, Adelaide 2 goals. The Crows leading by 5 points. Quite warm conditions. Wren and Caven. Wheeldon was over the top. Lyon, well tackled. Ball spills free. McDermott playing his 300th senior game today. And that will be a free kick to Adelaide.
The 277 games for Glenelg, 23 from the Crows. He's a player that's basically done everything in South Australian football, bar win a Margery medal, I imagine. But certainly one of the players that Victorian players of State of Origin games feared greatest, with his ability to get the ball out to the centre.
Well, it's Paxman to Wheeldon. McGeary, isn't it? Hodges. On the 17 to the other side. It's Broderick. Broderick at midfield. Marking contest. Hart punches the ball down. McGuinness nudges it further towards the boundary line, which he will find in front of Dundas, and we'll see a throw in.
Nearly as good as a kick, that punch, wasn't it?
It was a real bolo job, wasn't it, Robert?
My word, he got right onto that as Smith prepares to come onto the ground for Adelaide. Smith and Darryl Hart starting on the interchange bench. Bickley, McDermott, now Maynard from centre half back. Rodney Maynard, a good kick towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Good work by Ingerson to bring it to ground. Lip tack. Shot for goal. Here's a chance now for Modra. He's kicked it. Well done, Anthony Modra. 3 goals to 1-1. Adelaide have got away to a good start. Fitzroy now trying to barge the ball clear of that centre circle. A free kick has been picked out of that, and it's going to McCormack. He's got blood streaming down his left cheek. Kick wide. Blakey has run from the back pocket. Good. Kicks a little wide for Osborne, but he gathers it well. He'll have to kick the screw punt. No, he's disciplined. He kicks it to the front of the goals, and getting back and taking a good mark in front there was Wren. Maybe a little fortunate to be paid. Now a 50-metre penalty.
Well, this player, I think he was held, and the player punched the ball out of his hands after he'd taken the mark. But this player is one of the exciting players the Crows have got coming through the ranks. A tall, mobile player, intelligent.
Gives the hand pass away to Liptak. Liptak up towards the centre half forward position. Hodges swoops on it beautifully. Long left foot, shepherded through for full points. His first, the Crows' fourth. And they're doing it well. Their forward line very constructive. Excellent pick-up by Scott Hodges to boot through that goal from 45 metres.
Well, Scott Hodges has been giving a half-forward flank role today with the inclusion of Modra. We see him picking the ball up, and the result was what counted. The delivery not so good. But Scott Hodges really has to stand and deliver now. His career is at the crossroads.
17 points the difference. 7 plays 24 at Princes Park. And the umpire has a whistle on play. And it's going to be a Crows free kick again to be taken by Wren. Wren just off the centre circle. Marking contest out there. Ingerson claims it. In fact, I just about would have paid it, but the umpire says no. Liptak has a snapshot at goal. Almost a mark in the square. Won't matter. Bone put through another one.
There's a star south of the as you and me, looking out for our state, that's guaranteed.
When you shop at Foodland, you're doing more than getting great prices. You're supporting the company that supports South Aussies.
Oh, g'day, Grant.
Yes, I really just shop at Foodland.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
So the bounce back in the centre. Adelaide are doing it very, very nicely. They've kicked 5 straight, and they've always had the ball in front of goals. Good work by Ingerson, but just knock it behind himself. Morrish, now a chance for Seacamp. Does it pretty well. Has a bit of a look. Nearly gave it away, but then decided to kick directly towards goal. Punched away by Hart was good play. Attempted gather by Caven. Nearly tackled his own man in Abbott. Wiedemann is in there. Wielden looking for the free kick. Surely there'll be nothing paid out of that. Wielden now with the footy, but the umpire will call for a bounce. Brendan Carlin and Trevor Garrett officiating this afternoon. The bounce is about 60 metres from the Fitzroy goal. They badly need one. Gale somehow gets through. Kick towards full forward. And Osborne could have nearly been awarded a free kick.
Has been, Robert.
It has been. Well, he nearly had the mark. And then in frustration, I feel, maybe Patterson just giving him a little shove. Ben Hart there.
Yes, the replay does show that the Special Forces policeman, Patrick Patterson, applies too strong a hand of the law. And his side is now going to be penalised, with Richard Osborne having his first set shot at goal.
And he needs to kick this. Fitzroy desperately need one. And it is a bad miss.
But it was, Robbo. They're trailing badly on the scoreboard, Fitzroy. And Richard Osborne, who had a fairly ordinary season last year, but has started the year in superb form so far, should have kicked that one home.
Lee looks for Maynard. We've got a couple of fingernails to it, and that was all. Matthew Dundas onto Gale. Around Liptak. Centering kick. Lyon in front was the target. Couldn't take the grab. Chance for Broderick. The ball doesn't bounce too kindly for him. Jarman on the burst. High kick. He kicks it to midfield. No one can take the grab again. Tregenza looks for the hand pass. Someone going past, and that person was McDermott. Back to Maynard. Onto Tregenza. The Crows running game standing them in good stead at the moment. Back to Bone. Hand pass. A little bit quick for Ingerson. Bumped off by Baldwin. Holding a man decision. Fitzroy free kick taken by Baldwin. Away he goes from centre half back straight down the ground. They need goals quickly, Fitzroy. Not going to get them from this forward thrust. Lions being well beaten there. Lee kicks it towards centre wing position. The ground a little bit slippery.
Well, that was a poor kick into the forward line from Baldwin. He just blazed away, and was rebounded by Wiedemann, who played extremely well against Melbourne in that position last week.
Broderick to Abbott. Abbott stood inside the centre square, too far out to score. Kick and a half from goal there. Hart goes to spoil and did it well on Osborne. And it will be a bounce 30 metres out from Fitzroy's goal.
Gerard, surely there's an advantage in trying to find a short pass rather than bombing away to the shorter Richard Osborne against Ben Hart.
Yes, I think that's exactly right. I hate blazing away into the forward line. It's only if it's your last option. Both times we've seen players with space to create something.
Lyon trying to make something out of nothing, couldn't do so. And the ball comes out eventually to Bickley. He popped a heavy knock in the opening minutes here. Gale looks for the hand pass, gets it on the end of it. McCormack, long kick will be a score. It's going close, and he's got the goal.
Fitzroy may get clear of that centre bounce. Now a chance for Morrish. Morrish's left foot kick, a little too high for Dundas. Crumb gatherer's line, back to Dundas. He's going to get caught. Luckily, little kick. Baldwin, well done. Blakey. What can they make out of this? Blakey goes straight for goal. Lovely kick. Oh yes, well done Osborne. Judged it better than the youngster. And Richard Osborne has marked only 3 metres out. And a very, very slight angle.
Yes, well, in the one-on-one competition, I believe that Richard Osborne will clean the young fella up. He's having his second shot at goal in a minute or two.
And Osborne does kick the goal this time. So Richard Osborne gets his first goal, and Fitzroy bounced back hard. They're 3-2, and they only trail by 10 points. Adelaide are 5 straight.
Jeremy Gard comes on for his first run, and they've taken off the flying doctor, Darren Wheeldon, who gets a rest on the interchange.
A little bit of experience there for Osborne. He's kicked 1-1 so far. Warm conditions, gets a drink. About 24 minutes gone in the opening term. New ball coming out. That one was kicked into Princes Park proper.
Some young boy may have benefited from that, Pete.
Might be in a raffle up near the local watering hole. Robbo,
$140 a try. Well done, son. If you've got it up your jumper.
10 points the difference at Princes Park in the first quarter. Closing stages thereof. Abbott up high, loses out to Wren. Broderick taps the ball further forward. Got to heard a whistle there. Now the umpire says play on. Blakey will do just that. Long kick by John Blakey. Excellent. Osborne off the ground and one behind. Richard Osborne's tally is 1 goal, 2 now. Good effort.
Yes, it was nearly a sensational mark in the left hand only. Fitzroy have got back into this game because they've taken the ball out of the centre. Liptak was killing him in there, but he's been tightened up upon.
McDermott, Maynard, and they kicks to the outer side. Knocked away from Hodges by Paxman. Wine gets there first, but only succeeds in counting it over the boundary line on centre wing.
Well, John Blakey's been given the role of negating Liptak, who's already had 9 possessions. We saw on that occasion.
And Exel might be coming off, Gerard.
Yes, he's being escorted off by the club doctor.
Gale's kick, high, only travels about 20 metres. Abbott couldn't take the mark. Broderick backs up well for Fitzroy, spears the pass in down towards Ross Lyon, it was at half forward. Lee chips it to Patterson. He'll give it back to Lee. They're working overtime, the Crows defenders, and they'll get out of it. He's gone long, straight down the ground. That's a pretty good kick too, but it's an ill-directed one. Ruse onto McCormack, right at the centre circle. Low trajectory punt kick up towards half forward. No mark taken. Wren loping after it. Osborne may get there first. Guard does some good shepherding. His snapshot. Two Crows players nearly made a meal of that. In fact, they did, but Patterson will get clear.
And Patterson, no messing around this time, kicks it long out towards half-back. The mark has been taken by Brown.
Well, the Crows have continued to play a loose man on the back line. It's Scott Lee at the present time, and that's leaving Paul Morris as a spare player up on Fitzroy's half-back line.
Modra has the football, kicks into the pocket. Nearly taken away there by Seacamp. Is that a free kick? Yes. Held when he didn't have the football. Play goes on, but the umpire in control will bring it all the way back, and the free kick will go to Marcus Seacamp in that right back pocket.
The Crows used a loose man in defence well last week. McDermott voted best on the ground, picked up 28 possessions. Today he's been given the role on line, and it's Lee that's the loose player.
Morrish A scrubber kick in towards the centre. Abbott. Productive handball. McCormack again. Roos. He'll nearly kick a goal. Paul Roos. He bangs it away with distance but no accuracy, and it finishes up hitting the behind post. So it's a free kick to Adelaide, and it'll be taken in that back pocket by Ben Hart.
So I thought Paul Roos could have handballed that one to the running Jeremy Gard, who was on his outside, who would have run in and shot from 25 metres rather than shooting from the 50-metre line, Robbo.
They look a little better, Gerard, if you can bang them through from there. Adelaide at half-back. Wren away to Brown. Brown's handball too far, but it goes in the path of Tregenza, so it finished up all right. Tregenza's kick is good. In towards the centre of the ground. Punched away. Chance now for Fitzroy to get clear. Morrish. Free kick. What was that? Too high with the elbow, maybe?
Trip.
Attempted block.
Umpires played a trip. And here we see the loose
Morris.
man from Fitzroy. He should be picking up plenty of possessions, Morris, because he hasn't got anybody with which to worry about. And he's only got 4, so that's quite enough.
Centre half forward for Fitzroy. Might be as far as they're going. Now Gard, well tackled by McDermott, has the ball pinned underneath him. Would have almost been given as holding the ball, but it will be a bounce. As we get to time on, in fact a couple of minutes into time on in the first quarter, 9 points the difference in favour of the Crows. Thumped away by Wren, and you can see the ball picked up pretty quickly by McCormack. Lee couldn't do much with it. Wiedemann will look for a hand pass to McDermott. A high kick. Jarman on left centre wing usually does something constructive with the football. Down towards centre half forward again. Nobody can take the mark. Lynch still with that knee bandage, but he's moving okay.
No, he's not.
Isn't he? Blakey. I suppose even if he's 50%, you'd still have him in the side,
No,
Robert.
he's in trouble, Pete, behind play.
Roos. No one can take the grab again. Now Jarman from McGuinness. Now towards full forward.
Now you've seen what Lynch is up against. Modra was 8 metres in front of him then.
I noticed last week in Brisbane he had that bandage on and he didn't seem to be getting much distance with his kicking. Admittedly the ground was heavy. Today was going to be the test. So Modra's kicked one already. Over time for the trainers.
Exel.
That was it? Got one in the eye. No umpire stands right next to the goalpost and only one behind. Kicked by Anthony Modra. So
Peter,
he has 1-1.
Just about Alistair Lynch, just standing on the mark then, Gerard. I don't know whether you noticed that, but he was certainly just leaning on his left foot or left leg, favouring the right knee, and he's in all sorts of trouble. I'm sure a fit man would be better than
Yes, I agree with you.
Alistair Lynch.
Half-fit players end up being a liability.
Seacamp for Roos, and there's the siren for the end of the first quarter. And so it will be a 9-point lead enjoyed by the Adelaide Crows at the first change as that knee belonging to Alistair Lynch limps towards the quarter-time huddle. It doesn't look too good. 5-1-31 to Fitzroy, 3-3-21 at Princes Park. Just a reminder, matches coming up tomorrow to complete round 4. It's Sydney versus Fitzroy, 12:30 Central Time, and then the West Coast versus Geelong. Here at quarter time at Princes Park, Fitzroy and the Crows. It's 10 points the difference, 3-3-21 to the Crows, 5-1-31. And I think we're set for a pretty interesting stage or a game with 3 quarters still to go. Now, Max Stevens is down on the boundary line. Let's go down to Max to hear what the coaches had to say at the first break. Maxie.
Well, Peter, Graham Corns, as one would expect, pretty happy with that opening quarter by the Crows. He made the point that in these conditions there's no excuse for bad play. He also told the Crows that their work rate is up, they're getting the ball out of the centre and the dividends are on the scoreboard. An interesting move, David Marshall going onto the bench in that quarter. There's no injury as far as David's concerned, but at some time I think since we've seen David Marshall be a bench warmer in an AFL game of football. Summing up, Graham Corn said that they've got to keep that commitment up for a full quarter and not just 20 minutes. And also a little bit of a cloud over Mark Bickley. I saw the doctor having a chat to him at quarter time, but at this stage nothing too serious.
Okay, thanks, Maxie. Let's check the scores from other matches. And Essendon and Collingwood out at Waverley, 5-2 to 5-3. That's not quarter time, by the way, a progressive score. St Kilda bolters against Hawthorn down at Moorabbin. The Hawks really play well there. 8-3 to 3 points. So I think that one's just about cut and dried. Richmond, look at this one too. 3-6 to 1-6. So maybe a couple of upsets in the offing there. And we'll keep you up to date on what's happening in those matches right throughout the day. And of course, don't forget to replay Essendon and Collingwood after this game here at Princes Park, which is at a pretty interesting stage. The early part of the second quarter, Gerard, is going to be vital, I think, for both teams. Yes, the game's still in the balance. Both sides have had 6 shots at goal, and I think that indicates the evenness of it. Michael Gale got Fitzroy off to a flying start, and he was on Marshall, and that's the reason he's in the bench. 10 points the difference at Princes Park as we begin the second term. 5-1 plays 3-3 in favour of the Crows. Absolutely ideal conditions for football. McGuinness puts Adelaide into attack up towards their centre-half forward position. The attack is repulsed by Roos, who kicks to centre wing position. No mark taken out there. Guard tries to pick the ball up, successfully gets it to Broderick. A centering kick from him. And McCormack taken high. He was off nonetheless. Still a Fitzroy ball. Baldwin. Blakey. He gets it back to Baldwin, who blazed away in the first quarter down to the forward line. And this kick really isn't much better. Gives the Adelaide defenders plenty of time to knock the ball clear. It's over the boundary line in front of Ben Hart, and we'll see a throw-in to take place 40 metres from goal. So ball in, half forward. Wren up late. Lyon goes for the hand pass. Blakey. Haven't seen too much of Ross Lyon today. If he can fire, Fitzroy certainly will be in with a chance here. Gale, a quick hand pass. Going backwards. And this time with a kick now towards the 50-metre line. Jeremy Gard chips in to take the mark. Maybe too far out to score. No wind, though, here at Princes Park. Last week a gale blowing across the ground from the north. Little or no breeze today. And kick out in front of goals. High fly was wielded. Liptak will get clear for the Crows. Short pass, maybe ill-directed. Baldwin, what can he do this time? A hurried hand pass onto Osborne. Long kick. That looks pretty good from Richard Osborne. The crowd seems to like it, but it's just shaved the post and one behind. So Osborne's tally is now 1-3, and the difference once again is 9 points.
Fitzroy have started the quarter well, though, blazing into attack. A bit unlucky there for Richard Osborne as we see Alastair Lynch limping along the ground with only one boot on. But one area they do lack is someone to take a big mark in the goal square.
Kick in is marked by Bickley. Goes away to Lee. Kick it quickly. He does in the finish. Ben Hart. He doesn't mess around. Kicks it nicely towards the centre wing area. No mark taken by Hodges. He's got to get rid of the football, and in doing so gives it away to Caven. Caven's kick to half forward. No mark. Still there for Fitzroy. Broderick. Dundas. Good kick, Matthew. Brilliant kick. Liptak. Dragged off the football. Broderick's underneath it. Wine tackled by McGuinness. Ball runs free. Now a penalty against Wine, and the free kick will go to McGuinness. Quite critical. Neither side getting any advantage, but then the free kick paid. Ball into the forward pocket. Just touched back there. Blakey away to Roos. Balked his own teammate in Seacamp. Then gave it to Gale. Gale has it at half back.
Michael Gale onto Wine. Get it moving quickly if he can. Jimmy Wine does so. Kick is high towards half forward. McDermott. Guard has the front position. Lyon, will he go off the ground? No. Wiedemann cannons into him. Well played, Ross Lyon. Did well to get a kick, but it's ill-directed. Tregenza takes the mark at full back. Goes out wide. Patterson's running for him. Patterson at the right half-back flank. It's up towards the midfield area, which is pretty hard. Hodges. Number 2, McGuinness, Lee and McCormack. Good skills from Lee. Ingerson. He doesn't cover a lot of ground. Tony McGuinness almost gets caught on this occasion. Roos goes off the ground. Will he do it again? No, gets the hand pass away to Baldwin. He's picking up a lot of possessions. This one constructive onto Dundas. And there's Baldwin's lookalike, Morrish. Similar haircuts. Patterson Slats the ball down. Hart tries to get it to a teammate. Gets shirt-fronted for his trouble. Plenty of weight being used in the packs. Out comes Wheeldon. Did well to get a kick at it. Even better to keep it in play, and a great attempt to mark by Osborne. Unfortunately for him, not rewarded for his efforts. It's out of bounds. I don't think he could play the mark though, Robbo. Just
I think Richard Osborne just a little frustrated there. He felt as though he perhaps should have hung onto it, and it slipped out of his hands.
So boundary throw in. Forward pocket for Fitzroy. Went through Jarman's legs. There is a whistle. It's going to be a Crows free kick, and it's going to be taken by Wren or Wheeldon.
Pretty soft free kick, Jared.
Yes, a little bit. The young player is the tallest on the ground by a fair margin today, and he should really dominate the air.
Wren hugs the boundary line with a kick towards the outer side, knocked down by Morris. Liptak, a quick hand pass. Tregenza got plenty of toe, no doubt about that. And a little bit of interference down there. The umpire lets it go. Lee really tried to get it to the boundary line. Not too much backup support for him, and it is tied up in the forward pocket.
Actually, I feel as though Baldwin's job on Tregenza is cutting them out a little bit, isn't it? He's such a vital player for them across the centre line.
Tregenza does give them a lot of drive. He's had 5 possessions to date, but Baldwin's hurting them with 9 possessions and also a couple out of the centre bounce. So perhaps the Crows may consider even swapping wings, although I'm sure that Robert Shaw just swapped the wings also.
Right forward pocket for Adelaide. Boundary throw in. Real struggle for the Lions to clear. Jimmy Wine goes for the safety of the boundary line now, and it gets it to about 25 metres further away from the Adelaide goal. There's Alistair Lynch.
Looking rather disconsolate, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit more serious than people are prepared to make out, Peter. There's a chance for Liptak. Kicking towards a full forward. Good mark, Seacamp. Like the look of this boy. Played well over in Hobart in a Foster's Cup match. Kick wide. Elliott, another youngster with plenty of promise. He's got plenty of acreage in front of himself. Now he kicks it. Oh, it was poor kick. But luckily for Fitzroy, it landed in the arms of Broderick. He looks for the short one. Now he goes onto the favoured left foot and bombs away to the square. Was it touched? Back there, Patterson. Still kept it in. Fitzroy got a chance. Dundas, cleverly. Back he goes to Caven.
Yeah, poor play
Caven is marked well within scoring distance.
Poor play from Patterson. He could have gone for the safety of the points, but he elected to keep the ball in play, and Fitzroy now have another shot at goal.
Actually, the same thing happened in the forward pocket when Adelaide were going that way in the first quarter when Brown kicked the goal. One of the Fitzroy boys probably should have taken it over. And Caven, oh, what a good kick. What a lovely kick.
There's a star south of the as you and me, looking out for our state, that's guaranteed.
When you shop at Foodland, you're doing more than getting great prices. You're supporting the company that supports South Aussies.
Hi, Darryl. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Foodland,
Yes, I really did shop at Foodland.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
3 points the difference. And we have a thriller at Princes Park. McDermott nearly gets overrun. Good tackle by Lyon, and he dropped the football, but a play on call. Guard will do just that. Osborne didn't get a chance to get second bite at the cherry. Hart, beautiful spin out by the youngster. Maynard, Patterson in trouble. Fitzroy tackling well now. McGuinness went without it. Caven, snapshot, and it rolls over the boundary line for throw in adjacent to the behind post. Now the emergency umpire has come out. I'm just trying to look
Ben
at
Hart and Richard Osborne were engaged in a wrestling match, but I thought Chris McDermott, very unlucky not to get paid a free kick there in that last passage of play.
Wheeldon did well from the throw in to try to snare it. Hart, Wiedemann, caught and drops it out of bounds. Free kick either way.
Gee, they're relentless, Jared, aren't they, Fitzroy? They look like possessed people.
Well, that's what made them a good side in the Foster's Cup, and they have to play that way if they're going to be competitive. Once again, the pressure of Jim Wine has caused the ball to be kicked out on the full, and a shot at goal ensures.
48 metres out, right on the boundary. Pretty good attempt. Oh, what a goal! Jimmy Wine, fantastic shot, brings up 4 points, and Fitzroy hit back hard, 6-4 to 5-1.
Yes, well, Jim Wine being given the task of tagging Tony McGuinness, the Adelaide Crows danger man. He has done that quite well, although McGuinness has got his usual possessions, but now a goal is a big factor in his favour.
Bounce back in the centre, favours Wren. Overrunning it there was Ingerson. Ball spills out for Liptak. Bounce not kind for him. He's able to gather and kick it to the front of the square. Whoa, Modra, a big leap. Seacamp, away to Elliott, and Fitzroy out of trouble. Elliott's kick was good. Skills shown there were excellent. McCormack into the centre. Broderick, he's got a player running in support Wine, but he doesn't use him the first time. He does the second time, and Jimmy Ewer nearly caught. The kick in short, no mark taken. Wiedemann taps it for Maynard. Maynard goes away to Darryl Hart, who's now on the ground. In turn to Patterson. Patterson kicks it high. Wide to half forward, no mark taken. Liptak on McCormack. Fitzroy hunting in numbers. That's a good sign. The ball on centre wing. Chance for Ross Lyon. He worries Darryl Hart out of it. Dundas runs on beautifully. Dundas's kick towards full forward. No one back there for Fitzroy. Osborne 1-on-2. Keeps running. So does Wiedemann. Kicks it off the ground in front of himself. Gale, advantage. Goes away from Wiedemann. Back yourself, Michael Gale. He does. And thumps it in towards the full forward area. No mark taken. Still Dundas in there, but Ben Hart relieves temporarily for Adelaide. Away to Bickley. In turn to Brown. And the Adelaide Crows now in their forward half.
And plenty of loose men too. Hodges, who kicked a beautiful long goal in the first quarter. What can he do with this one? Up towards the 10-metre square. Almost a mark taken by Bone. And tapped to the boundary line by Jimmy Wine. A good effort.
Well, that kick from Hodges into the forward line signified the difference between the two sides. The Crows go forward. They've got the big Bone in the goal square. Whereas we saw Dundas kick the ball into Fitzroy's forward line, and there was nobody but Crows players.
Ball in left forward pocket. Bone over the top. And this time McCormack goes for the boundary line. Succeeds in finding it. Not about the same position, really. Sort of a wound he's got on the eye there. Training staff have worked well to cover that up. Seacamp in front. Ingerson over the top. McGuinness. Snapshot with the right foot. Results in only a minor score for the Crows. That's his first score of the day, Tony McGuinness. And their first score of the quarter, I think 5-2 it is. 5-2 to 6-4. 8 points the difference. 14 minutes left in the half.
Well, I think it's the Tigers that have got Fitzroy back into this game. Jim Wine, we saw kick that goal, and also Paul Broderick, who's playing on Jarman, getting away.
Standing there for half an hour on his own at centre-half back.
Blakey takes the mark. One of the real stalwarts at Fitzroy, John Blakey. He's kicked to the outer side, looks for Roos. Hart, Caven, short pass. Ball sits up nicely for Broderick. He's got Roos on the run. Guard marks unguarded inside 50 and could be able to get the distance from there.
Well, once again we see Paul Broderick on the attack. Jarman not paying him the respect when Fitzroy go into offence, and he's setting up many of the Fitzroy attacking moves.
Jeremy Guard kicks straight. Crowd seems to like it, and the goal umpire agrees.
So still Fitzroy commanding the game in the second term. They've kicked 4 goals, 1 to 1 behind so far in this term. Scott Lee under pressure, and this is the key to Fitzroy's game. Their forwards, not even their forwards, all over the ground. They've put extreme pressure on the Adelaide side. Up towards full forward. It's taken away. Still a chance for Fitzroy. Gale on the 50-metre line. Slips over. Well tackled by Bickley. In there to help out is Liptak. Sweeping hand pass. Chance there for Patterson. Gets it away to Brown. Brown running with the football. Kick is all right. In towards full forward. Maybe a little too high for Bone. It goes through to the back. Seacamp, good shepherd. Modra allows Paxman the chance. Away he goes to Caven. And Fitzroy out of trouble. Caven's kick towards centre wing. It bounces beautifully for Lyon. Hand pass, not really all that good. He gathers the ball again. Falls over at a critical stage. But still has time to get away. And Caven kicks it high, wide. And an ugly one in the finish. Guard can't control it. We'll have a boundary throw in just forward of centre wing.
Yeah, not so handsome, that one. Did Peter Caven and Paul Roos have interchanged? Caven gone to centre half back, and Roos gone to give Fitzroy something of a tall man up on the forward line.
Like a tall man in defence, we just saw Lynch on the boundary line there, and what a loss he is for Fitzroy. Roos got a mark, seemed to hold it long enough. The umpire disagreed. Patterson, a quick hand pass, good tackle applied by Roos. Bickley gets the hand pass away, and the Crows are away. This is Hart, Darryl Hart. Seacamp at the back. Modra off the ground and rushes the ball through for a behind.
Yeah, so that was the first meaningful Crows attack for quite some time, but it's not surprising that Jarman was benched, wasn't paying Broderick any respect whatsoever, and Broderick with 13 possessions to Jarman's 6 tells a story statistically.
5-3 to 7-4, 46 to 33. And we've been playing about 16 minutes in the second quarter. Paxman. Broderick got the front position, nearly comes out with the football. Good tackle applied by Marshall. And although he was unrewarded, he certainly stopped his opponent from going anywhere. So a bounce to take place just off the edge of the square. Smith on the boundary line, warming up, preparing to come on. Knocked down by Ingerson. Bickley through some rather heavy traffic. A high ball, Baldwin. McCormack onto Morris. Awkward looking kick. Osborne, I don't think would have been too appreciative of that. Did well to get a left foot to it. Snapshot. Oh, what a great goal. Has he got that? He has. Magnificent stuff. 52 plays 33. Osborne's second goal, and Fitzroy looking the goods. The Crows yet to score a goal in this quarter. Roos nearly caught with the ball. It comes out to Baldwin. Baldwin kicks towards half forward. Lyon has the ball punched away by Lee. Making every post a winner, Ross Lyon. Using all his experience there, finding a little toe poke to get the ball to the advantage of guard. Broderick well taken by Hart. The umpire says play on. Marshall will do just that. And here come the Crows through Tregenza.
Tregenza now forward of the wing after 2 bounces. A third bounce. Running away. 4 bounces. He's going to get caught. No. Handball over the top. Into the pocket. Smith. Sweeping hand pass. Back to Tregenza. Short kick. All right. Lip tack. Marks. Within 50 metres.
Yes, well, Tregenza must get into the game if the Crows are going to respond to the Fitzroy onslaught. Has been well held by Baldwin, but when we see him running down the line, the Crows look a better player. Sorry, a better team.
Lip tap. Gets underneath it. Doesn't get the distance. Modra! No, the man in front's marked at Bone.
Well,
that's a high leap from Modra at the back, but he's giving the mark to Bone.
Well, the umpire had absolutely no idea who to pay that mark to.
I agree with you.
I was keeping an eye on him.
Watch it again.
Watch him he lost him there, but from behind, the ball is in 50. Well, it was first in Modra's.
It was.
But down came the big Bone with the ball in the big hands.
And he's well within scoring distance, only a few metres out. Angle a little awkward, but he makes the most of it and kicks it behind.
Well, I thought he did run a little bit close to the man on the mark in that occasion, put himself under unwarranted pressure.
Doesn't look too concerned about it either. Is that
I'd say he's a fairly laconic type of player, Robbo.
Messed up my scorecard. I'd already put it down.
I'm sure he'd be seething internally, though.
Well, I just think that sometimes it's attitude that makes the difference between winning and losing, and that may be just something that's showing up in the Adelaide Crows performance so far.
They got off to a good start now that Fitzroy have pegged them back, so perhaps that tells the story, Robbo.
Sometimes you become a bit lethargic, though.
Yep.
When it comes too easy too early.
Yes, you did right.
Paxman to kick the ball back into play for Fitzroy. He's kicked it in nicely on previous occasions. This is no exception. Gale can't mark. Marshall at the back. Oh, down from a Dundas bump. McGuinness now outside 50. Kicks it well to the front of the goals. No mark taken. Seacamp knocks it over and hits the behind post, and it'll be a boundary throw in that left forward pocket for Adelaide.
Well, down from a Dundas bump, would that be similar to being whipped with a feather duster? Or a feather?
My word. Left forward pocket. Adelaide need a goal. They trail by 3. Smith doing the ruck work, but Abbott gets it out. His high kick is close to the boundary line. It's touched before it goes over. So boundary throw-in will take place 50 metres from the Adelaide goal, and they badly need one in the dying minutes of this second quarter. We're about 20 minutes in. They still trail by 3 goals.
Smith trying to scoop it out in front of Broderick. Blakey's the one to come out with the football, gets dispossessed pretty quickly as McDermott applies a tackle, diving on top of him, and inside 50, about 45 metres out from goal.
Well, Anthony Ingerson has been moved onto the ball with Sean Wren being interchanged. Obviously, Corns wanting a bit more mobility up on the ball.
Under 8 minutes left in the half. Abbott and Smith. Brown can't do much with it. Bickley, it's a juggle. Roos, good block. Brown dives on it again. Pretty untidy stuff, this. And again, ball having travelled only about 5 metres since that last ball up.
Modra and Hodges have also interchanged, with Hodges now lining up in the shadow of Big Bone in the square.
I seem to like him, Gerard.
Oh, he's a big boy.
Ball thumped to ground again. On the end of it is Roos, who kicks to centre wing. And off the hands of the pack, mainly Maynard's. Caven was there as well. It will be thrown in next to the interchange area. So an important few minutes in the upshot of this game. 8-4 to 5-4, 3 goals the difference. Abbott taps down. Ingerson had a shot at it. Hand pass comes out to Hart, who runs into line. Wouldn't want to do that. McGuinness breaking clear. Tony McGuinness with the left foot up towards full forward. Hodges was the target, couldn't take it. Elliott reads the play beautifully. Most improved youngster for Fitzroy. Kicks up towards the centre wing position. Abbott comes down with the football. Not a mark. The umpire says play on the bottom. I think it's Broderick it is. And it will be balled up on the centre wing position.
Well, Robert Shaw really is ringing the changes. He's put Caven back to centre half forward, and Roos maintains his spot at centre half back.
Abbott and Ingerson. Marshall and McCormack. Bickley. Marshall again. Marshall from midfield. Not a well-directed kick, a well-delivered kick. Hodges, I don't think, would have appreciated that too much.
It's a push in the back.
Blakey shuffles the ball out in front, tried to get it to Wine, and Jimmy Wine did well to get a kick at it. Gale on the end of it. He'll have to be quick, Michael Gale, and he is. But the pressure got to him in the end, and it's out of bounds in front of Jeremy Gard. And a little bit
mind having another look at that.
Yes, it looked as if it was out in the full. May well have picked up an inch or two of the line, but good pressure from Tony McGuinness, and that's the value of a chase.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was out of bounds, Gerard.
No doubt.
On the full? On the full, yeah. Yeah. Some boundary throw, and it is. Wheeldon with a good knock on. Maynard with the front position from Caven to McDermott, and McDermott kicks up to midfield and beyond.
A little awkward for Smith. Able to gather it and knock it behind himself. Looked okay. Lee looks a little out of sorts. Fitzroy dispossessed. McCormack, Broderick. Back to McCormack. Hand pass further. Baldwin running beautifully on that outer wing. No one home there for Adelaide. Mark easy as you like to Ross Lyon. And he's only 40 metres from goal.
There really is the Fitzroy pressure, Robbo, that's dispossessing the Crows, and if they do get a kick, it's under pressure. Here we see a handball from McCormack, sets up Baldwin, who's doing well on that outer wing, and Ross Lyon, unattended, takes an easy chest mark.
Lyon kicks for goal and misses by a big margin in the finish.
Well, it's the same pressure that brought the Crows undone in the night series, and we were led to believe that Terry Wheeler thought that was their Achilles heel in the opening round.
Ben Hart to kick the ball back into play. You're looking for a reaction from me, are you?
Well, I thought there'd be some response.
McDermott, Lee's long kick to half forward. Smith can't mark. The crumbs are gathered. Liptak, kick a goal, son. Liptak shoots for goal, and he puts it through.
Fitzroy, though, still leading by 13 points. 4.5 minutes left in the half. Fresh air shot by McGuinness. Wind applies a tackle, arguably too high. The umpire says no, okay. Marshall from Abbott's short kick. Bouncing ball favours Hodges. If it sits nicely for him, he should goal. 25 metres out directly in front, and Hodges has goal. The Crows hit back. That's his second, and it couldn't have come at a more valuable time. Scott Hodges, 2 goals today, and the Crows creep just that little bit closer. Here it is again.
Yes, Scott Hodges read the ball better there than his opponent. in Morris, and a good snap. And I think, Robbo, it's fair to say that with 5 goals this season, Scott Hodges must stand and deliver.
Oh, my word, I think there's a lot of pressure on him, but I like the way he works when he's off the footy too, Jared.
8-5 to 7-4, 53 to 46. Hodges' second goal. And will the Crows go back into attack again? They do. Kicked up towards half forward. That's as far as they're going. Ruse gets it out to centre wing position. Gale. Short pass. Well delivered to Wine. On the run. Next to the interchange area on the wing. Strong grab.
He's had a good quarter, Caven. In fact, that's Jeremy Gard.
Whelan stands the mark.
There's a few lookalikes.
There are at that.
Gard, Caven, Ross Lyon.
And Borgood and Morris are twins. So Gard with a centering kick once more. Kicks it to the front of the goals. Marking contest out there. Comes down to Osborne. And that would have been a miraculous goal had he put that one through. As it is, it dribbles over the boundary line in front of Scott Lee. So boundary throw in 15 metres from the behind post.
The beauty of the oval football, Jared.
Bounces every which way, as Ron Barassi often said.
Incredible stuff. Right forward pocket for Fitzroy in front of the Carlton Social Club. Handball by Wheeldon. Kick for goal. Came from Caven. The mark to Osborne. He's picked that from nowhere.
Yes, I mentioned in the first quarter that I thought one-on-one Richard Osborne would be too experienced and too strong for his opponent in Ben Hart. And that was a classic example, and Richard Osborne will pop through his third goal.
He's obviously got a lot of good, real strength in his body, Richard Osborne, and
he's been a weights fanatic for years. And just being that old, must have a strength advantage.
And he kicks the goal quite simply. So Osborne has now kicked 3. He's the leading goal scorer on the ground. Scott Hodges has kicked 2 for Adelaide. But the scoreboard showing Fitzroy with a 13-point advantage, 9-5 to 7-4.
Yes, a good chest mark in the end, under extreme pressure with 3 Crows players also on screen. Richard Osborne. Reconstruction 2 years ago, took a while to get his confidence back last year, but I think we're going to see the very best of Richard Osborne return this year.
Abbott to contest the bounce for Fitzroy. Osborne has now scored 3 goals, 3. 13 points the difference in favour of Fitzroy, 9-5 to 7-4. As the sun breaks through the clouds here at Princes Park, Brown tries to break the pack, couldn't do so. The 2 Supermax combine. McGuinness's kick up towards Hodges. He's got support there from Modra, who gets taken out of it with a good bump by Ruse. Leaves it for Seacamp. Seacamp's long hand pass. And Wine playing a tremendous game today. Kicks to centre wing. And Fitzroy playing with a lot of confidence. Wheeldon onto Dundas. Dundas up to half forward. Caven ran with it. Maynard gets taken down. Beautiful tackle.
Yes, he tried to barge through the pack there, young Ben Hart. Unfortunately, ran into the groping arms of big Caven. And from this distance out, the 50-metre mark, he's a dead set chance to kick a goal.
Yes, couldn't get through there. Stephen Kernahan got away with something like that last night, but not today here. Ben Hart stands the mark. Caven, right on 50, gives it every possible chance, a reasonable sort of a roost for a goal. So Caven kicks his second, and Fitzroy once again kicked clear at Princes Park, 10-5 to 7-4.
Yes, well, 2 goals for Peter Caven. He's been interchanged centre-half back and centre-half forward. Once again, we see the tackle that resulted in that goal. Fitzroy now are back in command of this game.
10-5, plays 7-4, only seconds left in the term. Adelaide are a chance if they can take a mark here. No, bounces in front of Hodges. It may be held up in that pocket, and that's exactly what Fitzroy would require with just seconds left in the game in this first half.
It's amazing how many quick kicks out of the centre land in no man's land between centre-half forward and full forward, and we often see nobody there. It's a position where a forward pocket should aim to get at every centre bounce.
Boundary throw in, Bone gets it down. McGuinness may do something. He does, he kicks it behind. So Tony McGuinness has kicked 2 behinds as the clock ticks down. Adelaide 7-5, Fitzroy 10-5. The advantage with Fitzroy, it's 18 points. Kick in. Oh, good mark. Well done, John Blakey. Under a little bit of difficulty. And the siren sounds. That is half-time at Princes Park. And Fitzroy lead by 3 goals. They're 10-5. Adelaide are 7-5.
Well, Adelaide kicked only 2 goals for in that quarter. It was a big one though for Fitzroy, but that's not a sight they would like to see. Alistair Lynch limping noticeably, boot off, knee bandage, and obviously in a great deal of trouble, so I'm sure we won't be seeing any more of him today. We wonder, of course, for the remainder of the season. But a good term, as I said, by Fitzroy. They booted 7 goals, 2, and after trailing by 10 points at quarter time, lead by 3 goals at the main change. We'll take a break from Princes Park, back in just a minute. 18 points the difference in favour of Fitzroy at half-time. Good quarter by the Lions. They booted 7 goals, 2 to the Crows, 2 goals, 4. Pretty interesting match, and Fitzroy, good term. Can they keep it going, Robbo?
Oh, I think it's a good question, Peter. I just watched them go off the ground, and they all waited for each other. Their team spirit is excellent, but there's still half a game of football to go, and I think that they really have to approach the early part of the second half with the same ferocity that they started the game with, Jared. It was tremendous, wasn't it?
Well, their trademark over the last couple of months in the Foster's Cup has been numbers at the ball, supporting each other, but I think Fitzroy have dominated in the centre. They're controlling across the wings. Gale had Marshall taken off the ground. We saw Jarman taken off the ground. He's been well beaten by Broderick. And McCormack's had 20 possessions to half-time. When you consider that Baldwin is also keeping Tregenza out of the game, and Wind is controlling McGuinness, although both players have had a number of possessions, then I think that's where Fitzroy really have gained the ascendancy in this game.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, Peter, that just running through the players, sometimes you can get a bit of a gauge when it's difficult to find good players in one team, and I thought I could give credit to McGuinness, who's battled very well, and Liptak, and then you struggle a little bit. You've got to go for players like Maynard, Tregenza, who's trying very hard, but they've got players like McDermott very, very much down on previous performances. Scott Lee, Darren Smith, who's been on and off the interchange bench, as has Darryl Hart, and Jared's already mentioned Andrew Jarman, whereas Fitzroy, it's pretty easy to find some good players.
Jamison obviously being missed, Jared, up on the forward line.
Yes, I think so. We saw Modra kick a couple of goals and he looks okay, but only a young boy. You can't expect him to control things. Hodges had kicked a couple of goals and looked all right. I think one good move from Corns was, though, bringing Ingerson from centre forward onto the ball, a mobile player, and taking Wren off, who hasn't really dominated as I thought he would have.
All right, well, there it is at half-time. Fitzroy leading by 18 points in the AFL here at Princes Park. And that's a long way from the Catherine League and the little oddities of football. It's amazing the stories that crop up. We go to a club today, it's called Barunga, and Mick Hedger found a most unusual coach.
The tiny township of Barunga, about 400 kilometres south of Darwin, attracted national interest 3 years ago when Prime Minister Bob Hawke signalled his intention to sign a treaty with the Aboriginals. That was about the first and only time Barunga made it into the headlines. Now it has another claim to fame, an Aboriginal woman football coach who prides herself on the fact she's never played the game, nor even kicked a ball at training.
Right, listen up now.
Helen Fijo Frith is 44 years old, and her only interest in the great Aussie game until a few years ago was watching it on television.
What I know about football and what I do with these boys and that is just more or less by watching other games and picking it up, here and there.
Now she's the boss, the trump in a race where for thousands of years women have been pushed into the background, seen but definitely not heard. She's one lady who's gone against tradition, and in their regular pre-match cool-down swim in a local billabong, the rest of the team treat her as an equal. That swim is great relief, and for a while at least, this afternoon's game against the RAAF team from the Tyndall Air Base is all but forgotten.
Hit him in the LP post. Hey, hit him in the LP post. Hey, hit him high, hit him low. Hit him in the LP post. Hey.
Swim over, on the bus, and the business about winning is about to start.
Get out there, we're going to win this game, eh?
Yes! 3 goals from you. 3 goals from you.
The boys in the blue and gold need a win to grab second spot on the ladder, their highest position for 3 seasons. One of the main reasons behind Barunga's success this season is Helen's no alcohol policy. It's a simple one. As much as you like after a game, but none before. You see, before she came along, many of the players would turn up for the match a little bit worse for wear.
I just laid down a few rules for them and just told them, if they're drunk or if I know that they had a drink before the game, they know themselves that they know themselves that they're not going to be playing that day.
That doesn't seem to worry the team now. The lads have the utmost respect for their hardline coach.
You know, when she says something, we do it. You know, if she sees you drunk, that's it, you don't get a game.
A lot of hard training with her. When she always get upset, you know. Just go for it.
The boys from Barunga are hot favourites to beat the RAAF today. In the first round, they won by 122 points. Tyndall was scoreless until the last quarter when they saved a little face by kicking a behind. But Helen's taking no chances this time around.
I want everybody out there running.
100%, our boys,
so
come
what
on.
if they're big blokes? They're nothing. You just run rings around them last time. Just do the same this time, only don't run rings around them, just run all over them.
Conditions are tough on the Catherine Showground Oval. The temperature hovers around the 30 degrees, humidity in the 90s, and the breeze, well, you don't often get one in this part of the country. The coach, she's tough too.
Exactly how you do at training. Hey, used to, having a big conversation there. I'm talking to you. Right?
Is she harder than other coaches you've been around?
That's right. Yeah, I reckon she's the best.
Barunga start off the match in a flurry. Those words by the coach have had the right effect. The hard work and strict rules imposed by Helen are working. She's quick and not afraid to give credit where it's due, nor let everyone know her feelings.
David Marty, yes! Go Marty, way to go Marty! Now you're starting to play football!
The Barunga boys are really fired up, and for Tyndall, it's already a case of just trying to hang on and not get flogged again. By quarter time, Barunga is 3 goals up and looking good despite the oven-like conditions.
What are you worried about the heat for? The heat's nothing.
Come on, you want to talk to you,
Tyndall try everything to unsettle Barunga, but clearly they aren't in the race. The Magpies have the wobbles. Everything Barunga does seems to add to the scoreboard.
Take your time, Marty!
By the last quarter, Barunga are 15 goals clear and going further ahead. Tyndall is in tatters. The huge win assures Barunga of second spot on the ladder, and with half the season almost gone, their final spot is assured.
I'm just really happy after a couple of losses, and then you get a good win like that.
You must be doing something right.
I reckon so.
Game over, and the boys can let down their hair and prepare for a well-deserved celebration drink with the full blessing of the boss.